the homestead, we spend a lot of time growing food, preserving food, canning food, raising animals, and doing a ton of stuff, locally sourcing foods, finding new canning recipes, building our food storage, organizing our food storage, finding different methods and shelving and all sorts of different things that help make our food storage what it is and what it functions for all of us as individuals, as families, filling the freezer, hunting, foraging, fishing, all of those things. Recently, we've done a lot of organizing projects, and I want to show you guys how we actually use all of this food that we spend so much time growing or sourcing or catching or hunting and preserving. So today I'm showing you guys a pretty average what we eat in a day. We're starting off this day. This was a Thursday. My husband was not going to be home at all this day because of work and the class that he is teaching that is officially done now. But on top of that, all of my kids were home for a little bit of a teacher reset. So we started our day off with some egg sandwiches, which we have not been doing for a couple of weeks now because the chickens just haven't been laying and egg prices are so expensive. Well, our chickens are starting to lay again, which means we are enjoying eggs a lot more often. You will see that today. We're all enjoying a ham and cheese and egg sandwich on some Kaiser rolls that I had made a couple of days prior when we had burgers for dinner. We had a couple left over, and they were perfect for this morning for that. We also broke out a can of some of our home canned cinnamon spiced applesauce, which is absolutely delicious, and that is what we had for breakfast. Some kids paired this with an orange or a little bit of yogurt with some granola. Some kids ate just the sandwich. All of my kids range in age from 9 to 2. All of them had half of a sandwich and then paired it with one of those things that I mentioned. Some kids had grapes. They just paired it with whatever they wanted out of the fridge, and that was breakfast. Pretty much right after breakfast, my oldest daughter wanted to make some Jell-O for snacks for later in the day. She has been eyeing up this raspberry Jell-O that we got recently. It's new for us. She loves raspberries, so she wanted to go ahead and whip this up. So with my supervision, she went ahead and made up this Jell-O mix and poured it into our 4-ounce mason jars. We also will fill these with pudding on occasion. Sometimes I will fill them with yogurt for the kids to throw in their lunch boxes. But because the kids were going to be home, this was just like a fun kind of grab and go snack for them. So she went ahead and whipped these up, put the rings and lids on them, got them in the fridge, and then went ahead and made sure she wiped off the counters right away. Otherwise, that will stain the crud out of your countertops, let me tell you. So she just kind of stuck those away and kind of had an afternoon snack ready to go for everybody. And it seemed like as soon as we did that, it was time for lunch. And the kids just wanted some cans of SpaghettiOs off of the canning shelf. This is just a practical, easy item. Once again, the kids paired these with whatever they wanted when it came to fruits or vegetables. Most of my kids had peeled carrots with this. Some of my kids, I think one of my kids ended up having an apple with theirs. So just kind of whatever they wanted to pair it with was up to them. I cleared out the fridge of some leftovers with this chicken orzo, a little bit of steak, and some grapes. While the kids were eating their Jell-Os for a snack, I had this Oats and Honeys bar and like a half, not even a half, of that Diet Pepsi for a little bit of an afternoon kick. When it comes to snacks for our kids, they usually will eat a lot of fresh fruit, frozen fruit that you see in my grocery hauls. Anything that we make from scratch or in-house, the kids know is free reign. They can have it whenever they want. They don't have to ask. If they're hungry, they can just go get it. We have these glass jars that we keep things like homemade cookies in or homemade muffins in. They're fair game. The kids can have them whenever. So the kids kind of free range snack on all of those like good items that we store here all the time. So our kids, most of their snacks are things that we make, like the Jell-Os or fruits and vegetables and things like that. I went ahead and got my dough prepped here. I will have this recipe linked down below. I've mentioned it before very recently. It's the Olive Garden copycat breadstick recipe. It is amazing. We love it. Ever since I have made these pizza breadstick things, I have not been able to get this idea out of my head to make these pizza breadsticks. I just had to make them. So I figured, because my husband was not going to be home tonight, this was a good night to try it. The kids would always like these, and we were going to pair it with a salad, which are things that my husband wouldn't be like super duper and happy about, like just having a big side salad and then something like a pizza stick on the side. But me and the kids, that is a yes. So I try to save those things for when my husband's not going to be home. So I just rolled a string cheese in our pizza dough breadstick thing. I brushed it with melted butter, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and some herbs and a little bit of garlic salt. And then I topped half of them with pepperonis, and I left the other half just cheese to give the kids a little bit of an option. Then I started on our really big side salad, which was basically, what do we have in the fridge that would be delicious in this salad, which turned out to be like lettuce and spinach and tomatoes and carrots and cheese and a little bit of lunch meat that I diced up. And then, because once again we have a lot of eggs right now, I threw in some hard-boiled eggs. And as I was cutting them up, the kids asked if I would leave some of them just completely plain and whole so they could have them as a side with their thing. And of course I said yes. This dinner ended up being just a really big side salad with a little bit of pizza sauce that we used for dunking our delicious pizza dipper. Some of the kids chose just cheese, but it was absolutely delicious, and I think these would be great as a freezer meal prep for before baby's born. It will be great for snacks, lunches, whatever you want to prep. And then late at night, of course, the kids had a little scoop of ice cream. They cleared out the rest of this bucket, and that is a full what we eat in a day here on the homestead. So you can see it does not have to be all or nothing. You can use some store-bought items like our SpaghettiOs and our convenience things, but also make some homemade doughs and a big salad full of things, and use some of your canned items like our applesauce and our chicken eggs. It can be a mix of what you source, what you produce, and what you get from the store. It does not have to be all or nothing, and I really wanted to show that.